Hello. How are you today? You want a great dessert recipe? I know you do. I'm gonna show you one right now. It is a chocolate berry ice cream cake. It's really quite spectacular. So here's how you make it. Start by making your cake batter. So half a cup of flour, scoop and level. That's the proper way to measure. I have an oven preheated at 350 degrees. Half a cup of sugar. That goes in there too. The chocolate in the cake is cocoa powder, 1/4 cup. It's not very much, right? This is actually a pretty thin layer of cake. So half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Don't forget to put salt in your baked goods. Whisk together. The great thing about this is no mixer required. And then wet ingredients. First I want to do buttermilk. 1/4 cup and a 1/4 cup of warm water. I'm just gonna add it right into my buttermilk. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I like a safflower oil, something nice and neutral. Half a teaspoon of vanilla. 1 egg yolk, not a whole egg. I'm gonna do it in my hand. Voila, see that? The egg white went right through my fingers. Thunk. You do have to wash your hands after that, but no biggie. And then you just whisk it all together. This is our go-to cake batter for pretty much every kind of cake that we want that's chocolate, and I think it's gonna be yours after you taste it. So spray a springform pan, let's just say 8 inches with nonstick spray. Scrape the batter into the prepared pan and bake it for 15 minutes or until the top springs back when you press it lightly with your finger. If your cake isn't done, then the whole thing will fall. So wait at least 12 minutes to check. So the cake has been cooling for an hour and a half. First, what I need to do is take the cake, release the pan, and line the edges with parchment papers. Cut your parchment so that it comes a couple inches over the top of your pan, and then surround the edges with parchment. This is just going to allow the cake to release really easily once it's done. I'm gonna soften my ice cream. This ice cream has been sitting out so it's nice and soft, but I still need to mush it around a little bit. I know, here's an idea. Use your scissors. Cut it right out of the thing. Makes it so much easier than scooping. Yay! Scooping is for suckers. It's almost soft enough. Once it's softened to a spreadable consistency, then you can add your 1 cup of frozen or fresh blackberries. The great thing about the frozen berries is that they don't pop and bleed all over the place, so you get nice little pieces of frozen berry in your cake. One fell in there. That's okay. Mix it together. Now that it's combined, you can spread it straight into and on top of your chocolate cake. And then just spread it in an even layer over the cake, making sure to cover the whole thing, and then into the freezer for about an hour and a half, approximately. This is nice and cold now. I have softened raspberry sorbet. This is my alternate method for getting ice cream out of a pint container. Works almost as well. It's very, very elastic and nice. And if it's the right texture, it'll smoothly go on just like icing. So scrape it right on. And also it really, really helps if your first layer is really, really cold and really, really frozen. So make sure you don't rush it. And then you can keep it in the freezer for up to a couple of days. If you do want to keep it in the freezer for more than, a couple hours, cover it with plastic so it doesn't get any weird flavors. So a couple more hours in the freezer, or up to overnight, or up to a couple of days. And then you can release it, unwrap it, and it's kind of magnificent, don't you think? Look at that. It's really pretty, it's really fun, and it's really easy to cut it. You want to make sure that you have a nice hot knife. So run it under hot water, and then make sure you dry it, and then just slice into it. The hot knife obviously helps cut through the cold ice cream with nice clean slices. And you get something really, really spectacular for very, very little work. That cake batter, while it had a lot of ingredients, took about 5 minutes to make. And then there's a little bit of layering, a little bit of mushing up ice cream, and you're good to go. So why don't you take 5 minutes out of your day, all right, 15 minutes out of your day, make this spectacular dessert, and watch everybody swoon.